You know what? We could have recorded in the theater if I went
we
there. It was just
didn't we talk about it? Didn't we talk
did talk
about recording?
We talked about it. Hello, fellow weebs and otakus, to an episode of Anime Fix, where your fix for all things anime. I'm Chase.
Lance.
Hi, Lance.
Hello, Chase.
You were so excited that you started talking about before I even started to hit record.
I am. What I was saying was I haven't even watched the first movie like we talked about. And after seeing this one, I don't know if I care enough because this was so good. I personally think this tops everything he's done today. I don't think there's any way that his very first film, obviously he's gotten better, but I don't think it can come close to where I think he's entered a new stratosphere.
What are we talking about today, Lance?
We're talking about the new Shinkai. Well, it's new to us. For new to US. Suzume.
Suzume. Whatever you pronounce it, it's called glorious. It's called amazing. It's called Shinkai does it again. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Do you think it's better than all of his other things, though?
Absolutely. I think it 100% definitely tops Your Name.
I don't know. I have to watch Your Name again. But that's the only one that came to mind that would beat it. But I haven't watched Your Name in a long time. But my initial thoughts was Suzume's better.
Here's the thing. I think it's you're right. I haven't watched it in a long time either. It's definitely Your Name is definitely a multi-watch film. Here's where I can confidently. I think I'm pretty confident that I can say it's better. I don't have to watch the other one because Your Name, while dramatic and fun, is very within a single sort of a romance niche, right?
Yeah.
This introduced romance, comedy, horror. It's some other elements that probably are too not as hints of it, but not worth getting. But this introduced so many different elements. It did it so cohesively and well that even if it comes close, right? He topped everything he's done to date. This is something completely. I feel like he's done something completely new.
Go ahead.
But no, I'm fine.
You're good. I was just saying because I sent the SpongeBob Patrick brain exploding meme after I got done watching it last night, and then you immediately called me, and I was like, "Hey, we can't talk about anything right now, right? We got to wait for tomorrow. We got to wait for the podcast." But then after I got done talking to you about that, and we hung up, I started talking to Obs about questions I had, so she helped me answer a bunch of questions. But
okay,
we were talking about Your Name versus Suzume, and she really thinks Your Name is better, and I was just saying that Suzume I think does a better job of the journey and the process of getting to the destination or the climax or the ending versus Your Name, because the journey of she meets all those different people on the way and helps her grow, whereas Your Name is just it's a progression, right? And he finds out these things that are happening, and you find out the transition between past and present. But I just think it's just more character and more heart with Suzume on the journey.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Your Name is very focused on just the two main characters, right? And kind of everything around them. Only purpose of every other character is to serve their journey. But in this one, while it was still around playing character and serving her journey, she also gave back to them.
Yep.
various different ways, right? So it was more of a shared relationship. Like everyone gained from it. No one was taking, everyone was giving, and I really like that aspect of it. Yeah,
Yep.
I think the same way.
Yeah, and then also with your name versus, I think I talked to this about it as well, but Suzume, like I cared about each of the side characters, like every single one. Whereas your name, there's a couple of side characters where they didn't get fleshed out, right?
Yeah.
They were just there to like go along with the journey. We didn't know
Mm.
really anything about them. Like even like the character of Sota's teacher friend, like that was like becoming a teacher as well with him. Like he
Yeah.
was introduced very late in the story, but they gave him so much backstory, but also they didn't give him backstory by telling. They like did it by showing too, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, and he, he had like not only did they give him backstory, but they had gave him like kind of his own scenes too a little bit. Like it
Yeah.
was independent of what Suzume was doing, right? With the mom,
Mhm.
right? They gave like the mom had some
The ant
character,
or
or the sorry, yeah, the aunt,
the ant, yeah.
her pseudo mom, guardian mom.
Yep.
Um, she had her own scenes. She had kind of like her own little character arc with that one dweeb she worked with who had like a super crush. She's like, oh, Kona.
You think he's a dweeb?
Um,
He definitely has a super crush, but
yeah, I'm
I
being.
think the ant's gonna pick the other dude though.
Oh, for sure, he's way cooler.
What?
He also has that. Oh, and I loved. But no, it's like the mom or the aunt had her own little like side story. A friend had his own little like all the supporting characters had their own little arcs, like mini arcs within the grander story, right?
Yeah.
I really liked, I forget his name, but the friend dude. I liked how she's like, "It's
Yeah.
raining. Can you put the roof up?" And he's like, "Oh, let's try this." And it just
Yeah. We'll give it
stops.
a
It's
shot.
like I
And like
thought he was
Suzume is
just
fine in the back.
yeah.
And there's like 30 more minutes of this.
I thought he had a little charm about him.
Oh yeah, he was super funny. And like so
Mhm.
me and Obs, there's like four people in the theater, like me, well actually five, me, Gray, and Obs, and then two other people just chilling in the theater. And then I think all of us laughed like when he crashed the car when Daijin and Sir Daijin talked.
Uh,
And then like the top part just actually closed. And he's like, "Oh, hey, roof's fixed." And then
he
the
had such
door
a
came off
he had such a positive attitude I mean,
about everything.
about everything, and I think that was so charming and admirable. And he's just a supporting character. I mean, he had a lot of heart in him.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I gotta so I've I've never I've in this movie I was on the edge of my seat. I cried like that. I laughed a lot. I was super engaged, and I want to mention because I've talked about this on other episodes. I watched this whole thing in sub by
Yep.
mistake, right?
My mistake. Yep.
Yeah, it was by mistake. But here's the thing, and when I realized it was sub, I was like, it's a little bit. I was like miffed at first, like for like a second. I was like, you know what? No, it'll be okay because is one. It's a Shinkai film. I'm not gonna walk away from this. But as I watched it, whether this was because of the medium, so I was telling Tori I didn't mind the sub,
Yeah.
and my first thought was, well, it was in a movie theater, so I think part of the reason why I mind sub at home is I'm watching it on a TV, right, and so like the screen is smaller,
Yeah.
and so I'm trying to pay attention to all the details and action and listen, but also read. So, like there's a lot of components, which it's fine, I can do it. I've done it before, but on the movie screen, it was so much easier because the words are
Yeah.
just huge, and so like I can easily just sit back. I'm in the back seat row. I can read it real easily, and still there's enough screen real estate that I can pay attention to what's going on, right? So I don't feel like I'm missing anything. But also, so that was kind of like what I talked to her about. And I was sort of, but the more I think about it, I got to a point where I was so engaged in the story. The subs sort of like, I almost feel like the subs faded away. Like I was
Yeah.
so, and so
Yep.
like,
That's what happens when I watch sub.
but I don't, but here's the thing. I don't think what I'm getting at is for me is the subs faded away, but I don't think it was because I was used to it. I think it's because the story was that good.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where that's kind of where maybe I'm wrong and I need to experience more subtitled anime, but I feel like the story was so good that the voice acting was so good that
Mhm.
that in the detail and the soundtrack, like I felt like there was so much story being told that even if I had no idea what they were saying, I
Yeah.
think I would have known what was going on because of how well it showed the story.
Yeah.
Words
Totally
were
agree.
almost irrelevant.
Yeah. And I thought I was going to watch it in sub, but I ended up watching it in dub because that's all they had.
Yeah.
So like I would rather watch it in sub, or you rather watch it in dub, and then like um what I realized like just now, like what you're talking about, I think why I like sub more, like overall as anime, is because have you seen those memes of like how to get ADHD people's attention, and like it's like, oh, you weren't listening, and they hold up like a phone, and like it's like the Reddit thing on TikTok where they just like start going through a story of like, and then someone's like chopping wood or like making food and stuff like that, so like
Yeah.
to keep your attention. I think that's why, because I like to keep my attention. I'm reading as well as watching.
So, you know, just touch on that is, and I've heard that from other people that, and this is something. So when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with, I think it was either ADD or ADHD, and I took medicine as a kid, and there was a point where I stopped. As I've gotten older, um, I've heard other people. Oh, so let me step back a second. I've heard other people say that, like people who will listen to podcasts while they're working.
Yeah,
They need that, that activity, right? And a lot of stuff on the screen. What I've noticed about myself as I've gotten older is it actually distracts me more.
yeah, really.
Like having like because you're keeping your attention, so you have to have a bunch of stuff on the screen and a bunch of like mental activity. I've whether it's natural, aggression as I've gotten older, or training because I've had or like mental training from like being studious and career driven. I That actually is a hindrance to me. I've noticed that the more because I like to focus in on one thing if I can help it,
Hmm.
no more than like a couple things at a time.
Yeah,
And so when I start in like when there's noise in the background and there's like movement right here and then there's something over here I'm supposed to be reading and all like that just is sensory overload. I
yeah,
need so just you mentioned that, so I just wanted to mention my experience that
yeah. Of course.
I do like subtitles though because they do I have started sometimes using subtitles even on English on
Same.
before, but that's more not for a focusing thing, but more as because sometimes a word will be said and I didn't quite hear it.
Yep.
Um, so I'll put the subtitle on so I can. So if I'm like, "What was that?" So that I don't have to, because I would pause and rewind just to hear a word. And so sometimes I'll put subtitles on just so if I miss a word or if I can't quite hear, I can see what they're saying.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree. Totally agree. Um, what I liked about Suzume as well is like the first like 15-20 minutes, I had no idea what was happening or what was going on, which I enjoyed. And they didn't like divulge everything right away. Like it was a slow progression of like what's going on, who's
Mhm.
Daijin, why does he hate everybody, why does he hate doors, stuff like that.
I was thinking, why does he hate doors? I was thinking to myself, what is it about Japanese culture and like evil demonic cats trying to destroy all of
Yeah.
humanity? Um,
We find out he's not evil.
yeah, he's not evil actually. Like neither one. Although and maybe you can clarify this. Why did why was the Sadajin like this sort of evil, sort of like hateful thing? Because he was, remember when the ant was like being super mean
Yeah.
to Suzume? We
Mhm.
come to find out the Sadajin, I think that's how
Yeah.
you say it,
Yeah.
was behind her, and so like, are they like yin and yang? Is that
Yeah,
the
that's what I
okay?
gathered from it. That's what Obs thought
Okay.
as well. It's like yin and yang, and then like he came out of the ever after to get Daijin because he's like, hey, you left your post. I can't do this by myself.
Okay, so Yang, Black Cat, the Sadajin, lives in the Ever After, guards the Ever After, and Dajin uh kind of guards the living realm. Is that the
Either
post?
that or like they're both like there on the outside as the um what they call, they're not called gatekeepers. They're called
Oh, something stones. The
yeah, stone something.
hold on, we can't get this wrong. We can't
We
get this
can't we
wrong.
can't, we can't get it wrong. Oh goodness, what's it called?
Keystones.
Keystones? Yeah, keystones. I think there are actual keystones out in the real world, and like they turn into the cats in the ever after. If that makes sense. But I don't
Okay.
know because Sota was just a chair in both, so who knows?
Yeah.
That was so funny. Like I really enjoyed having him not as an actual human throughout most of the show. I like him being a chair, which I really liked, and I liked how everything came back together. I mean, there's so much I want to talk about.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So it added a level of comedy there where when he's like the whole like a chair is not supposed to move or whatever, and going back and or him falling asleep and the chair just toppling over, and we think that
Yep.
he's just being lazy, but he's actually losing his humanity.
Yep.
Um, in the ever after. Um, what did you think about the time loop there? Where
Um,
I cried. By
I
the way,
thought,
I cried when that happened.
yeah,
When we realized it was her and not her mom that gave
yeah,
her the chair. That hit me like real hard.
it did too, especially when she was crying and like like saying like where's my mommy at, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Abba's made fun of me so much because she sat down like in the car ride back home. She was like, so how long did it take you to figure out that that wasn't the mom and that was actually her in the future? And I was like, um at that moment. And she's like, oh, I knew right away. I was like, how did you know right away that was that? It's like, oh, it's anime trope. I'm like, I mean, I was so focused on the story I didn't realize it, right?
know, I that's something in film, like in like from a viewer point of view that because people will go into a movie and they're like, oh, I figured it out early on, right? Some thing like that, whether it's a trip or there is the
Yeah.
foreshadowing and all that stuff, and I feel like that's cool. Like
I don't want to know.
I don't want see. Here's the thing. When I go into a film, I know that I'm entering a fictional story, right? And I'm viewing it, so I suspend disbelief. I am trying to immerse myself from the point of
Yeah.
view of the character as much as I can. I don't want to miss out. That does a disservice, right? If I'm an artist and I create this story and I'm like, yeah, I want to sprinkle some things in there. Those little Easter eggs or those little like shadowings.
Hmm.
Not doing that because I'm trying to like egg the audience. Like, can you guess what's going to come? I'm doing
Yeah.
that because after I do the big reveal at the end of the story, I want it to be so good that I want you to go back and go, oh, so that's what that meant,
Yep.
and it
And
gives you a reason.
that's exactly what happened for me.
Yeah, and I feel like that just creates a better story. But if you, it's like spoiling it for. It's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna read the plot of the story before I go into the movie. Yeah, I don't get why people do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
tried I tried my best to not watch any trailers or anything going into it.
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I was so immersed in the story, I didn't know it either. It didn't even
Yeah,
occur to
yeah,
me.
I didn't think about it, and like I was so confused at the beginning is like, haven't I met you before, or don't I know you? Like when they were like when she's on the bike going downhill and he's walking uphill, right?
Huh?
It didn't click for me that only she remembers him because when she looks back, right? When she looks
Huh?
back at Sota and her future self, that makes sense because that's Sota that she's looking back at, right? So
Yeah.
that didn't click for me.
Um. How on edge were you when they were when the Daijin and uh, Suzume were on the cat and the chair, and she's like, the cat's like, "What are you gonna do? Everyone's about to die," as the
Oh
worm is
yeah,
just falling down. I was like,
yeah. Like you have to. I'm like everyone's gonna die.
um, I was thinking like because no one else could see it, right?
Yep. It just pops up as earthquakes.
It just popped up as earthquakes, and I was thinking to myself like, how terrifying. So like to bring it back to like our world. How terrifying. What if there was a giant worm right now above us,
Hmm.
about to collapse, and there's somebody just standing up there with a keystone getting ready to stab it? Because we're like the idea that something like that's could be happening in the background, and you have no idea.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thought I have is they say that it takes what about 7 minutes, 7 8 minutes for the light from the sun to get to us.
Yeah.
And they say that because of that, if the sun were to just go black, we wouldn't find there's like a 7 minute gap there before we would find out. Like that, just that kind of stuff just makes me think, holy shit, you death is around the corner and you wouldn't know it's coming until it happens.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
Why
a
do you think?
fear that you just gave me. That's cool.
um, why do you think? I have my thoughts, but why do you think the Daijin both A abandoned its post and B didn't want to go back?
I think it abandoned its post because it's been a keystone for so long, and like when Suzume picked him up, it turned into like a cat, and like didn't wasn't in the key anymore because she picked him up, right?
Hmm.
Um, and it was like, hey, you freed me. Now I want to be your friend. So like it just wanted to roam around and stuff like that, and didn't go back because Daijin wanted to be around Suzume and like be her friend and just live like normal, right?
Hmm.
That's why Daijin immediately was like, "Don't like you, whoever you are. You're a Keystone now."
Okay. So you think it was and you noticed that when Suzume fed Daijin,
Yeah,
it was like super unhealthy, and then it got really healthy right before we found out what it was.
yeah,
Um, and then when Suzume said, "I hate you," pretty
yeah,
much, it turned into like this sickly cat again.
yeah.
So do you think that love, because it wasn't until it decided to be a keystone again, um, that it started to look healthy. So do you think that love is kind of like a keystone sustenance, like what keeps? Because it's when
I
it
don't know.
felt love, from Suzume, it got healthy again. When it felt hate, it got scrawny.
I just thought that was a personification or like an imagery of like, hey, um, I want to be next. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
It's
probably.
just something. It was what I was thinking in the moment of the film. Maybe that's not the intention, but
Yeah,
it was what I took is that love is the Daijin's sort of where its power comes from. Um, why do you think why do you think the Sadajin is bigger?
because it has to be mean to fight the worm. I don't know. Because the little Daijin has no shot at defeating that worm.
Okay.
Like it can grow
That
bigger, but like the side Daijin, whatever he's called, can get way bigger. You know.
how like that was like that was epic and terrifying to see it just like that giant like eldritch horror worm and that lion of the Saiyajin like just having this epic battle in the ever after.
Yeah.
Um, that just I got goosebumps too when I was watching that. Like that.
Yeah.
That was
That Gray got scared a little bit when that happened because like the cat like just like foaming at the mouth, chasing after this worm, and like they're all battling.
yeah.
I was like, oh, he's probably gonna have nightmares. That's fine.
um,
You could probably explain something to me though. That I had a question on.
yeah.
Um, why was Suzume able to go through the Ever After as a child, but not as an adult? That was confusing me. Like, how did she get through the door?
So the grandfather, we haven't talked about him yet, but the
No, I haven't talked about him.
grandfather of Suta, he said that there's only one door that any human can travel through.
Is it different for each human, or is it the same door?
I don't know. Maybe. Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Well,
Maybe.
it has to be different, right? Because like the mom couldn't go, not the mom, but the aunt, Tomiki couldn't follow Suzume at the end.
You know, I wonder. I wonder if the door you can enter is the door of a home you've is so like there's the she couldn't enter the door at the first gate that we saw. She couldn't enter the door
Mhm.
at the
Music park.
amusement park.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if the door you can enter is if it's a home you've lost. Right? So like or it's
Was that the door of her old house? I didn't know that.
it's where so I don't know if it's the door of her old house or if it's just a door in that area, but that was her home.
Hmm.
She went there and dug up her diary, all that stuff. So whether
Yeah.
it's her old house or if it's just in that area, that was her home basically. That
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and maybe it's the door of her old house. That's why she was able to go through it, is because her memory of that place. Because to lock the door, Suda says you have to feel the memories
Oh yeah.
of the people that there, right?
Hmm.
The memory and the feeling and everything like that. And so you're channeling that for the lock to manifest itself. Close it. I'm thinking because memories of that place are the same. Her memories and the memories that are trapped there, the memories she has are the same. And so that's why I think she might have been able to. That's the only thing I can think of to explain why she can go through there and no.
Yeah.
Um, versus anyone else and why she couldn't go through any other door. I bet you if someone who walked in on that door at the amusement park who has a memory from there might have been able to walk through.
Possibly, yeah.
Mhm.
That's pretty scary when she was walking through that, like ever after, like in the Ferris wheel. I was like, well, she's gonna walk straight through and
Well, she
fall
about
down.
did. She about did. That was a scary scene too, and I love that little bit there with the how they did like this. They split up, and Suda went after the Daijin, and that epic jump where it just like tackled it on the roller
Yeah.
coaster, and it's like and it has his um the chair just over its neck, like you will like he's grappling with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I mean wasn't scary, but that was definitely an intense scene, and how the fact that he was willing to give up the Daijin, his only
Oh
hope for becoming
yeah.
human again, his hope to becoming human again to save her. I thought that
Yeah.
was a really cool moment for the characters.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Can I just say that the soundtrack
Oh,
is
so good.
phenomenal. I
So good.
good thing we're not monetized.
It's a little snippet. It's fine.
um, I played the soundtrack. I looked up the soundtrack after
Yeah.
I got out of the film, and I listened to it on the way home.
Bro, Rad Whips cannot do any song like bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rad Whips is like amazing. They do like a lot of Shinkai movies.
I mean, obviously, he's the best, and he's only going to work with the best.
Oh yeah, 100%. Only gonna work with those.
I mean, I'm subscribed to them. That's. I mean, and on my music app, just so I can
Yeah.
get anything new that they do.
Was the last like song that I played, not the very last one, but the one right before that, was that that was a Rad Whips song, I think, but was it from like another movie? It sounded like it was.
Didn't sound familiar. Maybe I need to go back and listen and watch again.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna watch it again this week, so just let me know.
Yeah, I'm hoping if I can get there Monday.
Yeah, how come you went by yourself?
Tori had to work.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So anyway, yeah, that's why I went by myself. It's fine. I don't mind going to movies. I kind of like going to movies by myself sometimes because then
I don't like it.
not
It's
most
sad.
people don't.
I get sad.
I had the whole theater to myself, and all I could think of was like,
that's surprising.
eh.
There was two people in my theater besides us.
I mean, I did go at 1 p.m. on a Saturday, so I don't know if that's
true. We went at 6:40 on a Saturday, so a little better.
And so when I bought the ticket, she's like, hey, it's like it's pretty much open seating, and so you can sit. Where would you like to sit? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just sit in the center, upper center. When I walked in, it's like she didn't tell me it was empty. She just said open seating. I was like, holy shit!
You didn't tell me it was empty.
Why did you sell me a ticket and say you can sit wherever you want? Like
100%. You think someone's gonna come and be like, I want the exact seat that the other person's sitting in?
Yeah.
Well, the odds.
But so yeah, I hope we get to go see it. If not, I'll be upset, but I'll be okay because the moment I have it on my wish list, the moment it becomes available, insta buy.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just back to the seating part. I just want to see what would happen. Like, so you sit down, movie's about to start, right? You're in there 10 minutes, right? So one other person comes in, looks at their ticket, looks up, looks up, and then like just comes like right next to you and is like, you're in my seat.
I would have told him to fuck off. I would have said, do you know what we're watching right now? Sit your ass down and leave me the fuck alone. That would have pissed me off.
I would have laughed so hard. It's like someone's like complete empty and just like, you're in my seat.
Get fucked. Like don't interrupt.
I bought this ticket last year. You're in my seat.
Oh gosh. That would have been horrible. That would have yeah.
You know what? We could have recorded in the theater if I went
there. Didn't we talk about it? Didn't we talk about recording?
We talked about it. We did talk about it.
I mean, oh goodness, missed opportunity. That would have been.
Well, we couldn't really post it, right? Because all the soundtrack would be in the background.
We just asked for the remote and say, "Hey, just give me the remote."
That's not how it works, Lance. That's not how it works. I don't know if there's even a remote that goes with it. It's a projector.
Oh, it's not. You think they're actually using film?
Possibly.
It's all managed on a laptop. All right, they just send like a digital copy, and they just. I refuse to believe that there's actual like film or a disc being used. That it's all just they email a file. Well, they don't email, but they send a file and then they just hit play. That's what it has to be. Oh, for all we know, movie theaters are just torrenting films. They're just.
I don't think that's how it's working.
I know. It's probably not. No. Any other thoughts or feelings that you have?
Um,
on
Chica should have got more screen time. She
uh
was the one with that dropped all the oranges.
yeah, Chica was a missed opportunity there. Like it just becomes insta best friends. Hey, you want to come sleep at my house?
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
here's
mm,
food. Hey, thanks for working at. Oh, this was I really enjoyed that she worked at almost every place that she stopped at.
yeah.
That was fun.
How she was like, oh, you need a. I run a nightclub. Can you like come down and help me after you put
Oh
the kids to
yeah,
sleep?
yeah. I was like, I did
Um,
not see her as like a hostess kind of
yeah.
job, you know?
I'm 17. That's okay. I don't mind. Here, go mix alcohol, mix drinks, and like
Yeah.
serve it to patrons or whatever. Um, the fact that the Daijin kept like charming everybody. Oh, look at the cute
Oh
cat.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was funny too.
Makes me want to see that film. I want to see the film from a side character's perspective, just so I could see like what they're seeing when they look at the Daijin.
Yeah, and I think the Daijin can choose who sees it
Mm-hmm.
because like remember like in the bar, right, when she's working,
Mm-hmm.
is like, don't you think that that cat's like that patron's a little feline, and like she had no idea the cat was there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Remember that?
see. So that's what you okay? What I was thinking was happening is Daijin was like doing like a disguise self type thing. Was like like projecting an image of a person that wasn't there, like
Mm.
manifesting as another person.
Uh,
That's what I thought was going on there. Um, but you're right. It's possible that the other idea is that she just wasn't seeing it at all.
yeah.
Those two kids. Never have I
Oh
ever been reminded of how much I'm glad I don't have kids than that scene right there.
yeah.
Like I want to climb on top of you. I want to. We're gonna play the game of whoever can empty the Kleenex box the fastest
That was
wins.
funny. That was funny. That sounds like a fun game.
The chair is like, oh, it's a robot.
Yeah,
And it speaks.
with AI.
What's the weather? What's the stock price at? Like
That was
these
funny.
are things that a kid. I think I'm guessing they weren't older than 5 or 6. They had to be like 3 or 4 or something like that, right?
Yeah, probably around 4.
There's no reason why they would be concerned about any of that stuff they were asking.
Yeah, I know. That was funny.
Artwork. And we know it was good, but like, how do you think? So let's. Okay, so we both agree that Your Name was better than Weathering with You, if only
Oh,
by a
100%.
smidge.
Yeah. I think Weatherman Hughes is actually pretty low down there for me. I I think that the 5 centimeters per second, it's the least memorable for me so far. And then I think it would go Weathering with You, and then Garden of Words, and then Your Name, and then Suzume.
Ooh, Weathering with You below Garden of Words.
I like Garden of Words more than Weathering with You.
So I do like I do love Garden of Words a lot. I see. I guess I get conflicted because like the stories are. I think that the animation in Garden of Words is better than in Weathering with You.
Which is weird, right?
Right, because it's older.
Yeah.
But I feel like Weathering with You was more action heavy,
Oh yeah.
and it's oh man,
It's definitely different too because you don't see Weather with You as far as like in all of other Shinkai movies, it's a happy ending. Whereas I mean honestly, Weather with You is a happy ending, but like they didn't prevent the disaster. He just let it happen.
yeah, yeah. Um, ooh, okay, so I'm gonna say that anything before Garden of Words isn't that memorable for me.
Same. We haven't watched the first one,
Um,
but yeah.
we haven't watched the first one yet, but
I mean, what's before Garden of War? It's just 5 centimeters per second that we've seen, right?
There's at least 3 films before Garden of Words, and we've watched
Oh,
2 of them.
the Children Who Chase Lost Voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely remember that one.
I think it was children. Was it Children Who Chase Lost Voices? Where you're like, it's just a Studio Ghibli movie made by Shinkai. Is basically what you said,
100%.
right?
Yeah, it's literally, it feels like a Studio Ghibli movie.
um.
You know how I feel about those?
Yeah.
They're okay, but they're not Shinkai.
Yeah. So like that one barely. I mean, I remember how many there are only because I've looked at the list, but I don't remember like. Um, I would say, ooh, I think I would have to agree with you. I'm gonna have to say Weathering with You, Garden of Words, Your Name, and Suzume. But like that's hard. It's hard, even though I'm ranking them. They're really all so good. It's hard to really. I feel
Yep.
like it's a rounding error. Um,
I'll put Silent Voice as third, even though it's not Shinkai.
yeah, I would. Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty much Shinkai. It's honorary mention.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so how would you rate the animation of Suzume compared to Shinkai films? Best? Say it's best, mid.
No, not mid. No, not mid. I would say
In comparison, I'm not saying mid like mid tier overall. I'm talking about mid. Like
mid Shinkai.
Mid Shinkai, yeah.
Mid Shinkai is still an A minus.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, where would you put the animation of Suzume?
Animation was pretty top notch, but like honestly, I wasn't like really wowed like I was with like Your Name. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
See,
So
well,
like
that makes sense.
I was wowed with like the first scenes, like where she's like cooking and stuff like that. Cooking scenes are great in any Shinkai movie, but like I don't know. I just think Your Name did the animation better. I don't know.
So I felt like I'm wondering if it's and this is why I like the animation in Garden of Words because Garden of Words are so much. Garden of Words is a lot. It's not as action heavy. It's more still.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
And so like cookie scenes are a very still scene. So I'm wondering if that's just so much easier to animate.
Yeah.
That being
And
said, go ahead.
I was saying, and Your Name, it's like now you say it, Your Name's not very action heavy, where Suzume's a lot of action.
I think ooh, I would say animation, even with it, because it being so action heavy, I would say I would rate it top for the reason that it still offered, I felt like it was very detailed,
Yeah.
despite being very action heavy, versus like Weathering with You, Your Name. Well, Your Name was amazing animation, but not action heavy. Weathering You, by comparison to Weathering with You,
Yeah,
much better.
that's true.
Is my thoughts on it. So I'd give it A plus on that for that. Thinking, during in those scenes.
I'd have to watch Your Name with a review recently, because now I remember it. Like, I guess I'm remembering it weird, but Weathering with You, I remember like being floored by the animation and the artwork.
Yeah. Also, that's like 2016 too. So like we're talking about or 7 years, between films. So I mean, it might have been I don't know.
Weathering with You came out?
Weathering with You came out in 2020.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
What we should do is set up 3 TVs. We don't have to listen, but just mute them and just watch the scenes go by.
Yeah, I just do like a detailed analysis of like
yeah.
How's this line compared to this line?
Hit pause.
How well
Okay.
is this
What do you think of the soundtrack?
Great, top notch. To be honest though, Your Name soundtrack's better.
No, I'll give you that one because
Yep. Got
Your
to.
Name I'll give you that one because Your Name soundtrack is definitely more fun, lighthearted. You feel like I feel like Suzume's soundtrack, while top notch, was more in support of the story
Yes.
versus a soundtrack that I could just take with me, listen for on my own.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
give you that. What else? Story?
Yeah. Story. I think it's the best one.
This one, same.
Yeah. I think it's the best story. I'd have to rewatch Your Name, but story wise, yeah, I think it's the best one.
Yeah. What other elements do you want to bring up or talk about?
Um, I don't have much else. I mean, I think we went through most of it. Um, we talked about how Gray halfway through the movie started getting up and like going to every other seat and sitting down. It's like, no, I sit here, and like he's trying to squeeze through the chairs and like it was pretty bad. And it's like he asked like 3 times in the later half. He's like, can we go home now?
Oh my god. No, son. This is art. All right, you need to learn to appreciate this
And then like
now.
when there's a pause and like it was like a black screen for a second or like whatever, he's like, "Where'd it go? Where'd Kitty go?" That's funny.
Um,
But yeah, overall, I think it was a fantastic movie as always. Shinkai does it again, right?
yeah.
So,
I think is
I mean,
before. Yeah, I'm trying to think right now if there is any other element of the story. I feel like we were all over the place. But
yeah. What are the worms? Are they gods or what are they?
we don't really know.
No, I have no idea.
They're just basically uh just angry creatures that they're basically angry for no reason creatures that just sit in the ever after waiting to destroy everything alive.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool if they would have made like the worm like the memories or like lost voices of like the ruins, and like they're like, and then the gods have to suppress those because they're trying to get out. I don't know. I thought that would have been cool if they did it that way.
That would have been cool. I think. See, this is when you get into a problem where if you tried as much like I want to know more about why this family of closers exists, what the story, the culture behind it is, the mythos, right? I want to know where the worm comes from, all that stuff. But I feel like if the movie did all that, it would have it would have subtracted from the overall story because it would have the mystery and the nuance would have been lost. I feel like that's something that would probably be
Yeah,
fleshed out better. He has a light. Let me see here. Does he have a light novel? I may just go ahead and buy it.
I don't know.
Let me see, because I mean, I have pretty much a light novel for Your Name. I have the light novel for Garden of Words. Oh, if I search Suzume, wait a minute. I misspelled it. That's why. I was like, what? Why are you bringing up herbs on Amazon?
That's funny.
Oh, you can get a Daijin plushie
Really,
for
that's kind of cool.
for $8. You can get
You can get a
the
chainsaw Pochita man, a chainsaw man Pochita plushie, which is super cool.
um. Let's see here. Yeah, you can get the cat plushies for $8. I'm trying to see if there's a book. Uh, Poster. That's a fucking dope ass poster for $14. I want that. Um,
Nice. But
I'm
yeah,
not seeing a book yet. He might not have released it yet, but I bet you that's something that he could flesh out more in the story itself versus
do you think the age gap is weird between Sota and Suzume? Because he's about to be. He's in college, trying to take the teacher exam, and she's still a junior in high school.
So we don't know 100% what their age is, but we can guess. I
You
would
said
say,
Suzume was 17, right?
huh?
Didn't you say Suzume was 17, or are you just assuming that in the bar scene?
I'm assuming that in the bar scene.
Okay.
I'm assuming. So that would be my assumption if she's a junior. She could be, depending on when she was born, she could have been, and how close she is to graduating her junior year, because she could be towards the end of her spring semester. It's possible that she could be 18 as a junior.
Okay.
It's
So
possible that she could be
Suzume
6.
is 17.
Okay.
I'm
Are you
looking at
just looking
Sota.
at? Are you looking
This is
up like on a wiki?
Yeah, this is the
Official.
Makoto Shinkai wiki.
Okay.
That's what it shows, anyways.
But hold on. Before you say he's 20.
He is 20.
I'm guessing before
You're
you.
guessing.
Yeah.
It doesn't show. It doesn't say how old he is.
So he could. I mean, if he's taking a teacher exam, he could be. He could be in his. He could be 20.
Could be 20.
2021.
3 years isn't
I think
horrible.
I think the age gap is weird. I mean, we're getting, that's a touchy subject because she's almost 18.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot of factors. She's almost 18. I mean, you could also look at it from the what if they started dating when he was, so 3 year. I mean, I knew. That's a touchy subject.
The first 2 comments on this Reddit thing says the age gap in Suzume the movie. The first comment is girl really fell in love with the chair. And then the one right after that, I think that people bothered by it would lose their minds if they watched the Garden of Words.
Oh yeah, because she's like, she's almost 30, and he's basically 18.
Oh, I hate this one. It's cartoons. I hate you.
Don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like I think the third one. I'm gonna stick with that. It's a cartoon. I'm not gonna stress about the age gap.
Yeah. This comment is killing me. He may lose his looks as a chair, but he'll always have that dependable third leg. That's so good. That's so good.
That really adds to the question of when she's like, "Where's his face at?"
Yeah. Jeez.
When she goes to give him his wake up kiss.
Oh yeah, and this one says like it's pretty one sided because Sota really didn't like reciprocate any of Suzume's feelings until like he came back, I guess, right?
Hmm.
So I guess that's right.
Even then, like reciprocate the feelings. It's not like they. I mean, some time had passed before she looked at him and said, "Oh, you're back."
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure because she was in college for nursing, I think, at that point.
yeah. So, kind of, I feel like it's a moot point. It's like such a her interest in him. Like she says, she loves him, right? But the romance side of that is so really not the main focus. It's not about the. I mean, it is about the relationship, but it's not about a romantic relationship so much as they're bonding over this experience together, trying to fix this crisis, right? So I don't feel like it's
So you say that, but like the whole like after he turns into a keystone, the whole plot of that part and the climax is that she loves him and wants to save him.
Yeah, but I also think that's partially guilt.
Guilt? You think it's guilt? Survivor's guilt?
Possibly survivor's guilt, or possibly that the whole reason why this started, that he turned into a chair, is because she picked up. She goes like, "Huh, why is he going to look at a ruin?" And she skipped school, got curious, and picked up the thing. Right?
She also left the door open too. That made me mad. Close the door, you know?
Yeah, obviously. No, so I think part of it is it's her fault that it all started.
That's not part of it. It's entirely her fault.
Okay, all right, you're right. It is entirely her fault that the whole thing, him having to sacrifice anything, all the whole story is caused by her actions, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she loves him. Yeah, she's shared like this experience with him going through this story. I think at the end it was I think part of it was guilt.
Hey, I just thought of something.
What?
Kind of like the chicken and the egg kind of thing. Do you think the whole story started because when she walked through the gate as a kid and like got lost in there, right? Or do you think it happened because she gave the adult version of her, like the grown up version of her, gave young Suzume the chair in the ever after?
Okay, say that again.
So like she
Say
gets lost in the ever after, right?
as a kid.
As a kid.
Okay.
Do you think the whole story happened because of that? Or do you think like if Suzume as the future self didn't give the chair to her and just like showed her the way out? You know? It's like so what causes the whole movie? Maybe I'm just thinking about it too weird.
Um, I don't know. I hmm. I don't
Because without
know.
one or the other, obviously the whole movie wouldn't happen.
So it could have still happened. I think. I don't
Or if
think that.
Sota didn't show himself, you know, like if he wasn't standing, he like hid behind the hill, and she wouldn't have recognized him when they were past each other.
I think that yeah, that might be it. That might be the crux.
Yeah,
I like
weird thoughts.
she got. Well, here's the thing. We're both pretty sure that tsunami destroyed the chair, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So the only
That's why she
reason
doesn't
why
have the
she
chair. Yeah.
the only reason why she would have gotten that back is if the older person gave it to her. So her older self gave it to her. That's so. You know what? Chair is the chair is the link.
Yeah, the chair is a link. Where's the third? Where's the fourth leg at? That's what I want to know. Is it in Sota's pants?
This isn't a hentai. Jeez,
Ah,
stop it.
high school DxD.
Um, but the chair is the link.
Yep,
That's
it really is.
and where a chair exists out of some because yeah, that's it. Now, okay, now my head's gonna start
The,
hurting because
the
like
chair is the chair exists outside of time because it just keeps going in a loop.
yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, because like the chair never goes past the point of them going back into the ever after. It just always will go back into when she's a kid and then keep going backwards into when she's a kid. It never
hmm
goes past that moment in time. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it boggles the mind. I'm gonna definitely
So
read the
so will
one.
the chair ever like break
Escape it.
or will the chair like ever like get old? Not get old, but like will it like get more damaged overall or not?
Um.
It's the same chair.
So you're saying is it possible the chair could break?
Or is it because like it lost a leg? No, because I don't know. Because like yeah, is it possible that the chair will break? Or because it's a fixed continuous, it will never happen that will break? I don't know.
I'll say this is all a moot point because conceptually this doesn't exist. Like time travel doesn't exist.
You don't know that.
Right, I don't know that. I'm very confident it doesn't exist. Um,
Fair.
and even
For them.
if it did exist, I don't think we understand how it works.
We just have to start putting a chair through time continuums and time loops and see what happens.
Actually, there have been some experiments done with time travel using particles. I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it. I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently, but I know that the experiment exists and they've done reports on it.
Yeah.
But it's fun to think about.
It is.
Maybe the chair. What if the chair is a spiritual representation of her mom, or not
Yeah.
spiritual, a physical representation of her mom, kind of like her spirit is there. And that's
So were there 2 people in the chair then when Sota got turned to the Keystone?
maybe
Uh,
the
kinda weird to think
chair,
about.
or maybe the chair just represents her clinging to her mother, and now her giving it to her younger self is her finally
go.
accepting, letting go.
Yeah. I like that. We'll go with that one so we can stop talking about chairs for the last 25 minutes. But
The
yes,
chair is a
I like that.
big part of the.
Chair's a huge part. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Real quick.
Yep. Because after that, we gotta go.
That's right. Because you got family stuff you gotta take care of.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We've been talking about chairs for an hour though.
I know. Chairs and doors. That's pretty much
Chairs
what the
and
movie is
doors.
about. Doors,
Bro, you gotta watch this new Shinkai movie. There's so many chairs and doors in it.
I just so one little thing.
Yeah, you're good.
I want to is when Sota is in Suzume's room, he sees the mess. He just starts picking stuff up.
Starts cleaning.
Cleaning.
I feel like that's something you would do.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That is something I do. Is I'll come and Tori will have like stuff out, and I'll just kind of look at it. I go, fuck, and I'll just start picking it up.
Even if it's not your mess, and you don't know where she wants it, you're just gonna start cleaning it up, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I hate it. I hate it when Obs does that because I can't find anything after she does it.
I gotta tell you, and I tell the story too. If you put things back where they go, then
Not if I just got it out, Lance.
Yes.
You don't know if Tori just got that out.
I do know.
Why? Because you looked at it the last 3 days and it's still there.
Yeah. Because we've been painting, right?
Yeah.
She's been painting. I haven't really. I have done little to no effort with the painting because I've worked on other things. But so our bedroom is kind of a mess right now, right?
Yeah.
And she's had this pile of clothes in this one spot.
Yeah.
In the bedroom, and I've noticed it, and I haven't said anything to her. I've noticed it, and every time I walk by, I stare at it, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm talking to myself. And then like 2 or 3 days later, she goes, I just want to say I really appreciate you not bringing up that pile of clothes in the corner.
Yep.
And because she knew that I knew,
Yeah.
and I said, I don't know what you're talking about, as a joke, right? Like what pile of clothes in the corner? But
that's hilarious.
So anyway, yeah, we can stop talking about chairs and doors and
good.
But great film. I think
Great film. Yeah. Great.
I really want to go. I really want to go back now. I think we should still watch the first film.
I think so too.
And we could do that for next week.
We'll do that.
But I kind of also really want to go back and watch in order, almost like just
I know.
movie, and just like and then get back up to.
We'll do a Shinkai marathon like we did with Studio Ghibli.
Probably after it comes out on release, so that way we can buy it and or. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, we'll catch everyone next time when we watch and review the first Shinkai movie.
Bye.
Thank you.